Hi, I'm Scott Heiman, 22 years worth of military experience, a couple more with the Federal Police, and I've been camping since I was 3-year-old. I'd like to discuss with you today what I've done to my rig, some of the things that makes mine just that little bit different, or what I've looked at into doing for it. Because it's not a rock climber, it's not a tourer. When I get out in those backtracks, this thing is my safety vehicle. One of the first things you consider when getting a camper trailer is it compatible with my vehicle? Now, a lot of people talk about ball weights and GVMs, and these are all really important, as well as the hitch itself. The extension from that is, are my wheels the same as the tow tug? You'll notice here that I've got standard Hilux rims. That's because I've got a Hilux. It's got the 6-stud pattern and the same PCD. So if I'm in trouble, I can then swap them over. Another thing to consider is the same wheel track. If your camper trailer has the same wheel track as your tow tug, you're reducing the friction and drag in mud, sand and snow. In this world of hybrids and crossovers, pay attention to the height of your camper trailer and the height of your vehicle. Go too high, you increase drag, therefore a negative effect on your fuel economy. An additional safety feature on my rig is the wheel nut indicators. You'll see these on large trucks out on the highways, but by having them on my vehicle and my camper trailer, I can now do a quick walk around the rig to see if there's a wheel nut has come loose. Now you'll notice that when you're at the petrol station that the bowsers are all different sizes for unleaded and diesel and even high flow. With the diesel key, it'll help you stop from putting in an unleaded petrol into your diesel tank. Not only that, when I'm out west, perhaps I'm out fishing, an unscrupulous person might come to try and siphon from my tank, but they can't do it because it's got a locking mechanism that can only be undone by a diesel bowser itself. Something else to consider, that's the outlet for my air compressor. So I've got my air compressor hardwired to the vehicle with a switch next to the front seat. All I've got to do is grab the satchel bag from underneath the front seat with the hose and fittings, turn on the air compressor and I'm away. Why here? Well, the funny thing is, I've got a dust cover. After the purchase of your house, your tow tug and your camper trailer are your next two considerable assets that you own. So I personally need my camper trailer to go where the tow tug can go. So that's why with the Echo 4x4 Kavango I've chosen the independent 4-wheel drive suspension. Whilst we're under here, water tank. 100 litres of water in that one, but you've got to carry water in multiple vessels. Why? Because you might go over a stick that'll pull out your plumbing, and by the time you end up at your destination, your 100 litres is already dribbled all over the road. So backup water. Jerry cans, and with this one, you can have 4 jerry cans. But you've also got to look at the water contamination. You've got to keep it clean. An air filter on your air intake to your main water. These days, 12-volt technology has come a long way. Gone are the days of gas, lanterns and cooking. If you're going to stay at a spot for longer than a few days, you might want to consider an external source of solar. I have a Red Arc flexible solar panel of 72 watts. Consider carrying a simple spotlight. Have an external jack on your camper trailer. Why? You can sit there and you can teach kids about the nightlife, the possums in the trees. You can use it for search and rescue beacon up into the sky, and sometimes more importantly for your own safety, because how many of us have been in a state forest or a national park and the poachers have come by and you've been wondering how to scare them off. The first thing is poachers don't like being seen. Sometimes people forget that everybody leaves the safety of their camper trailer or their vehicle, whether you're going fishing, bushwalking to that waterfall. So you need to take your survival kits and your first aid kits. One of the most important pieces of equipment you'll take into the Australian bush is a PLB. That's an EPIRB for land lovers. It's a simple communication device with a 5-watt battery that'll boost your emergency signal to a satellite to the only dedicated search and rescue satellite systems on the planet. I love the term redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. You've got your CB and your tow tug, and when you get out of that and you go for a bushwalk, you take your handhelds with you. But everybody leaves the van every now and then, and sometimes people stay behind. So a good thing to do is to install a CB in your camper trailer. Now everybody can talk to each other, because you don't know who along this sequence is going to get in trouble. Anything can happen in the Australian bush. This is Australia and I love a sunburnt country, but let's face it, bushfires can happen. and I don't want to be responsible for starting one. Plus there's other accidents that occur around a campsite. There's a campfire, there's gas bottle explosions, so you've got to start thinking about those contingencies and again have redundancy. Have a firefighting extinguisher inside your camper trailer. Have one at the front seat of the car in case there's a spinifex fire underneath around your exhaust, or even have another one in the back tray in case you've got an engine fire. You don't know where the fire is going to be, so be prepared. On top of that, start thinking about the other tools that you take. You might take a rake to rake up the sticks around camp before you establish camp. Why not take a fire rake? Now you can clean up your site before you establish it, and you can leave it next to the fire. In case it escapes from you, you can put it out easier. Everybody should take a great axe with a mount scrub, but this one's a Nordic firefighting axe, so it's a little bit different. You'll notice that it's got a pick on it. Now you can lift the billy up off the fire and move it from a hotter to a colder part of the fire. You can help get tent pegs that are stuck in the hard ground. And that's the thing about accessories when you go camping. They've got to have 2 or more uses. If they only have one use, I'm going to suggest you've taken the wrong tool bush. Not all chairs are created equal. Cup holders are a nice gimmick, but I prefer one that has preventative first aid. This saves me from the sun, the wind, and on those cold nights or up in the Alps, a small fire is amplified by the canopy chair. It's this kind of thinking that you've got to apply to your initial purchase of your vehicle, because after all, it's your safety vehicle. Then you've got to apply it to your camper trailer. Then you've got to apply it to all the little things that you throw in the back of both of them. Because after all, time spent in planning is seldom wasted, and prior preparation prevents piss poor performance.